In this video, I will teach you how to import data and data sets found online into Google Sheets using import functions. There are 5 of them that we will be looking at. Import HTML, which will allow you to import either a table or a list. Import feed, which will allow you to import, say, the RSS feed of a news website. Import data, which will allow you to import data which is included in a CSV file, comma, separated values. So instead of downloading the file and re-uploading it to the internet to import it into Google Sheets, we will be using an import function, import data, to fetch the information automatically. Then we will look at import range, which will allow us to import data from another data set, say my Strava logs here. And in the next video, we will look at import XML, which will allow us, together with expat queries, to import structured data from a website. We will look at the City of Ottawa's website, and we will import information pertaining to the mayor and city councilors, and you will see that the information isn't structured in a table or a list, but rather structured just like a normal website using HTML tags and elements and CSS classes. And thanks to all of that, we will be able to build our own data set. So let's start with import HTML. Import HTML, and if you ever get lost, you can come to this useful website, Google Docs Editor's Help, and you can look at the import functions. So let's look at import HTML. Import HTML will allow you to import data from a table or list within an HTML page. And we will do so. Here's the syntax. So you will put equal sign first to call up the function, import HTML, and then you will put the URL, table, and then the index number. So we will put that function here in A1. Let's try with the Wikipedia page for India and say I want this table here on the right. How do you know whether it's a table or list, or whether the data is structured using classes and divs? Well, you simply right click and you click on inspect. And here I see table, tbuddy, tr, td, a pretty good indication that the data we are dealing with. You can click here with the inspector to actually inspect elements. So here we see that we are within a table. So let's copy the URL and let's call up our function. So equal sign import HTML. We'll put the URL. Don't forget to put the quotation marks, then a comma. The semicolon works sometimes if you are using, for example, Google Sheets in French. The semicolon could work, but put the comma, and then we want to import a table. And then we need the index number. How do we find the index number? You can kind of guess it. Here it appears to be the first table on the website, so we will try 1. But I will show you how to kind of manually guess the index number when we import a list next. So come here and let's put 1. We'll see if it works. And bingo, we now have this table. Republic of India with the flag, the emblem, the motto, and so on. That's exactly what I wanted. Now there is one problem though. If I click here, say on delete, I cannot modify the data. I can try to double click and modify it. Now it will kind of work, but I lost everything else. It worked, I modified the cell, but everything else is out of place. Why is that? Well, because we are still tethered to the original web page because the function is still here. So we will select everything. So Control A or Command A, or you can click here, Control or Command X or C to cut or copy, and then we will edit and paste special values only, or Control Shift V, Command Shift V on a Mac. There we go. Doesn't look any different, but now we have Republic of India. So the function disappeared. I will double click here to widen my columns. And now I could come here and modify stuff. Say I want to replace capital by capital city. Boom, it works. So that's how you would go about importing a table without having to copy paste everything manually. So long as the information is properly structured using the required HTML elements to create a table, it will work. Import list is very similar. Again, if you are lost, come to this help site and click on import HTML. Well, we're already on it. And then we see that the syntax for a list should be the same, but we will put list instead of table. So let's say that we want this list here, states, the states of India, and there are also union territories. That's a little bit more finicky. How do we go about finding the index number? If you click on inspect, so right click, inspect, and click on an element, say the states, here it will bring you to the right spot. Then if you right click, copy, you will notice that there is an option called copy XPath. Unfortunately, it doesn't work here. So it works with some tools. It is useful, but it doesn't really work, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, with XPath queries within Google Sheets. If you know a trick, please let me know. Instead, what we will do, so I just wanted to show you that the copy XPath option is there, but it won't work with what I'm showing you right now. Instead, we will right click and click on View Page Source. You will remember that in HTML, lists can be either ordered, OL, or unordered, UL. So what we will do instead is find roughly where the list sits within the code and its index number. So say we have administrative regions here, which are nice keywords. I'll do Control F and I will find my administrative regions. Okay, that's a little bit too high. Let's come here, 256, and it appears that my list of states is right below. And I know it's a list because, well, I looked at the code and it's also structured like a list here. So my list, OL, ordered, starts at 266. Here's my trick. In the search bar, you will put the code for an ordered list. There are two of them, and we see that there is one at the bottom at line 2359. That's way too low. And there is the one at 266, which I want to import. But that's not enough. That's not my index number. Otherwise, it'd be too easy. That would be number one. Remember, we may have, and it's quite likely on Wikipedia, that there are unordered lists as well. So, but UL, 145 of them. Let's go up. So right here in yellow, we have number 13. Number 14 is below. There we go. Actually, it's the orange one. Yellow are all of the lists, and then orange is the current one. So at 252, we are at number 13. Okay, 256 is my, or 266 rather, is my ordered list. So 13 plus 1 should be roughly 14. Again, there is a bit of guesswork involved, but let's go back. I will copy the URL, come back here, and I will put equal import HTML, the URL, and then this time around I will say list, and I will put, we said 14. Let's try it. Okay, not quite what I was looking for. Remember I said there is a bit of guesswork, so I always try one more or one less. So I'll try 13, doesn't really work, and let's try 15 then. All right, I now have my list of Indian states. If I wanted to add the union territories, well, I can simply come here to, oops, sorry, wrong page, A1, copy this one, and I will come say here, and instead I will come and put 16. Now I have a list of Indian states and union territories. I can copy everything, and just before, edit, paste special, and values only. Now I am untethered from the original data set, and I can modify the data. Easy enough, a little bit of guesswork involved, but you will get the hang of it. Now, import feed, much easier to use. So let's close this and then come to the CBC RSS feeds. Let's say you are doing a study or an analysis of the CBC sports pages, and you want to monitor the different articles published by CBC Sports on a day-to-day basis. Well, an easy way of going about it would be to use the RSS feed. So the RSS feed will tell you in real time or provide you in real time with an updated list of the most recent articles. So let's use the sports one, and then you could actually do it with MLB for Major League Baseball and so on, but we will do it with sports for now. So let's copy the URL, and it's an XML document. Come here and put = import feed. Notice how I always put my =, to call up the function, then the function, then a parenthesis, double quotation marks, the URL, double quotation mark, and another parenthesis. So all of the import functions have a similar syntax. And then I'll come here and do enter. I now have a list of the most recent articles published by CBC Sports. You could select all, copy, paste the values only, and then copy that to another into another spreadsheet, or leave it there and create a new page, say tonight, if you know that CBC tends to update its sports pages twice a day, and so on. But that's how you would go about fetching an RSS feed. And you have the lead here, or a summary of the different articles. The next one is import data. Import data will allow you to import a CSV file, as I mentioned before, without having to first download it to your hard drive. So here we have crude oil exports by rail monthly data. If I click here, you will see in the bottom left corner of my screen that it gives me the URL to a CSV document or file. I could click on download, and it will download it. But then I would have to go to Google Sheets, click on File, Import, and then clean the data. It's kind of an extra step for nothing. Instead, I will right-click here. Note that it doesn't always work because, for example, if you go to Open Ottawa, which is the City of Ottawa's Open Data Portal, the CSV link actually will send a request to the server and then send you a CSV file, so it won't work. But here with open.canada.ca, so the federal government's open data portal, it works. So I'll right click and click on copy link address. I'll come back here and put = import data. There you go, enter. I now have the data from that data set, and I didn't have to download the CSV file, then click on File, Import, and so on. So much easier. I can select everything and copy the variables, copy the values, and paste the values only so that I can modify it. Otherwise, you see I'm trying to erase data, it doesn't really work. So always select all. So you can click on this empty cell here, or you can do Command A, Control A, edit, copy or cut, file, or edit again, paste special, values only. And now I'm able to modify the data set if I want to. The last one that we will look at in this video is import range. Import range will allow you to fetch data from another data set. So say you come across my data set here online and you're like, well, I'd like to use it. Instead of copying and pasting all of the data, which you could do, you could also copy the URL here, come here, and then type import range. You will put this here, and then you will give my document, or not my document, you will give the specific cells that you want. So we want A1 through F25. But let's pretend we do not need the province or the city. I only want columns A through D. So that's A1 through D25. So I'll come here and I will put A1 through D25. And there we go. And it now extracted only the cells that I wanted to extract. 2 quick notes. If you come here, it will actually give you, so import range. An example when it comes to importing information from a specific sheet. So my data set right now has one sheet and then the pivot table, and by default it will fetch the information from your first sheet. So I didn't need to do anything else. Notice one thing though. So here the dates are okay, the distance is okay, the duration is okay. But now and then when importing data from one Google Sheets document to another one, you may end up with things looking a little bit wonky, out of place. Say here I would have like 4471, 4475, just because the format didn't follow along. So if that happens, select your column, format, number, and here I will tell the system that it's dealing with dates. I'll come here, format, number. I'm going to tell the system that it is dealing with, say, decimals. It's already the case right now. And here I would select my column and click on format and tell the system that it's actually dealing with a duration. Again, nothing happened because it imported the data properly, but sometimes it doesn't work quite perfectly. So that's in a nutshell how you would go about importing data directly into Google Sheets using import HTML for tables or lists, import feed for RSS or Atom feeds, import data to import information or variables, values from a CSV data set, and import range to import data from another Google Sheets spreadsheet.